welcome back to Cruising as Crew. My name is Lucy and today we are going to be discussing the 3 ships that Virgin Voyages are going to and have launched, and basically discussing which one I should go on. So about 2 weeks ago now, I released a video basically letting you guys in on where my head's at. I was like, oh, I don't know whether to work on ships again because of the whole COVID-19 thing and blah 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 blah. And a lot of you guys left some really great advice in the comments, and I really took it on board, and that's basically what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. I've been thinking, okay Lucy, what the hell are you gonna do? Let's come to some sort of decision. And like a few of you advised, I did make a pros and cons list. I did think about the good times as well as the bad, and a lot of you were saying, you know, if you are really passionate about cruising, go back on board, because whether you have a job at home or whether you are on a cruise ship, you are going to have to deal with all the shit that comes with COVID-19. So you may as well be doing that while doing something that you love. And I really thank you for that advice, because it just made me see clearly, and I was like, yeah, why am I letting all this rubbish affect my decision, especially when it comes to something that I am really passionate about, as you guys know. So basically I have decided to return to cruise ships, Virgin Voyages specifically, but unlike last time when there was only 1 ship to go on, which was of course the Scarlet Lady, there is now 3 ships to choose from. So Scarlet Lady was launched last year, and then the Valiant Lady is going to be launched in March of this year, and the Resilient Lady is going to be launched in August of this year. So now I have made one decision, which is to return to cruise ships. I now have another decision to make. What ship am I going to go on? Once again, I took your advice of the pros and cons list, and there are definitely some pros and cons to each of the ships, and that's what we're going to go through today. And then after we have been through everything, I would love to know what your decision would be for me. You know, taking everything into account, where would you send me? Which ship do you think I should go on? But anyway, we are going to start with the wonderful Scarlet Lady, which is the ship that I have just completed a contract on. Okay, so the first pro. So the Scarlet Lady leaves from Miami. It does Bimini in the Bahamas, and it does Mexico. And they are just amazing places, like Cozumel in Mexico, Costa Maya, like they're all so lovely. And for a beach bum like myself, who absolutely loves the sun, loves the beach, it's incredible. And the beach club is something that dreams are made of. So that is definitely something that I will miss if I don't go back on the Scarlet. Another pro for Scarlet is I believe that the Scarlet Lady is going to be the money-making ship. Now, for every cruise line, in every cruise line's fleet, there's always the ships that make the money and the ships that are kind of just there for the itinerary. So for example, you know, Royal Caribbean, Oasis of the Seas and Wonder of the Seas are, I mean, obviously they're huge, but they are big money-making ships, whereas Adventure of the Seas and the other smaller ones, they don't bring in as much money for the cruise line. And I think that the Scarlet Lady for Virgin Voyages is going to be their main moneymaker. Reasons for this is it's the first ship that was launched, which, you know, is always really exciting, but also because of the itinerary that it does, it attracts a lot of you lovely Americans. And Americans tend to spend more. They have very different spending habits to, let's say, the Europeans. So for example, I have found, of course this is not every single American person, but I have found as a general rule, Americans will save, let's say, 3 grand for their holiday. And their attitude is like, we have saved 3 grand for this holiday, and by God, we are gonna spend that 3 grand on this holiday. That is what the money is for. Whereas Europeans and myself will go on holiday, and if we've saved 3 grand for a holiday, we will spend because we've saved up the money. However, if we go home with like 1 or 2 grand, that's also great. Whereas Americans seem to be very determined to spend whatever money they have saved for that vacation. And For someone who works in the shops, that is of course a good thing. I'm not going to lie to you, we have sales targets to hit, you know, we want to sell merchandise. Obviously we're not going to sell someone something that they don't want or need, but yeah, we do want to sell stuff. So of course, customers who buy more, you know, that's going to be better for us. So from a salesman's point of view, I think the Scarlet would be really good to go on, because I do think that's where I'm going to make the most money. So the cons for going back on Scarlet, the only con that I can really say is that obviously I have just come off that ship, and as you guys know, I had an amazing time and I made some incredible memories. And one of the rules within the kind of cruise industry, people say like, oh, you should never go back to the same ship. Now, for those of you who have been following me for ages, you will know that I did go back on the same ship. I worked on P&O Oceania and I did 2 6-month contracts on there, both of which were fantastic. Do not regret that decision. But I kind of don't want to go back on Scarlet and have the memories that I have of that ship changed, because I am worried that if I went back to that ship, I would go on board with a really high expectation because it was so good. And then there's always that thing of like, what if it doesn't live up to my expectation? Like, I don't want to be disappointed. And then the other con is, as amazing as Mexico and Bimini and Miami are, at the moment, because of COVID, it's very unlikely that we're going to be allowed shore leave in Miami. So that leaves Bimini and Mexico. Bimini is just a beach. I love a beach. It's one of the best beaches I've ever been to, but when you are there twice a week, I don't want to say it's boring because I don't want you to get the wrong idea, but you understand what I mean. Like, even your favourite dinner you don't want to have every day. So as amazing as Bimini is, and as much as I do love it, it does get a bit boring after a while because it is literally just a beach. And Mexico, well, I mean, Mexico is great. Yeah. Right, so now moving on to Valiant. So Valiant is the next ship in the Virgin Voyages fleet that is going to be launched. Very exciting. So the pros of going on Valiant. I will know a lot of the people who are going on Valiant. So like half of the crew that were on the Scarlet Lady are going to go on Valiant to set up that ship, and then they will obviously be replaced by new people on Scarlet, and we'll have new people on Valiant. So it will be kind of half crew that were on Scarlet and then half brand new people. And a lot of the people that I really did make great friends with, like Yulia, Freddie, Kason, they were all like in my vlogs, they're all going to Valiant. So I mean, that's a big pull. One of the things that people get the most anxious about is like, oh my god, am I going to make any friends? Am I going to like anyone? Is anyone going to like me? So the fact that I already know that, you know, I can take a lot of comfort in that. The itinerary is insane. It's really, really nice. So it's doing a lot of Spain. Spain is one of my favourite countries. I love it. Mallorca, Portugal, Ibiza, Monte Carlo, Bruges, and then in October, if I'm still on board, it will come over to Miami. So I will get to do Miami, Bimini and Mexico in October on Valiant. So I mean, the itinerary's really, really lovely. I love doing Europe. I did Europe on P&O Oceania and it was fantastic, because unlike doing the Caribbean, where when you get off the ship all you do really is either shop or go to a beach, that's not what you have to do, but generally that's just what crew members do if they are on a cruise ship going around the Caribbean. When you are on a cruise ship going around Europe, when you have time off, yes, you can find a beach, yes, you can find shopping, but it's Europe. Like, there's amazing architecture, there's so many museums to go to, and just so many things to see. So the itinerary for Valiant is really, really, really lovely. The cons for Valiant, going off the back of being in Europe, it's expensive. Europe is expensive, a lot more expensive than Mexico. So I obviously did a video a while back going through how much I spent while I was on board the Scarlet Lady. On whatever ship I go on next, I'm definitely going to make an effort not to spend as much on board. But if I go on Valiant and I'm in Europe and there's loads of museums, I love a museum, and you know, just loads of things to do and see, the money that I spent on board, I'm going to spend ashore. And that's another thing for Scarlet as well, because the ports are repetitive, you don't spend as much outside. I mean, one, because there's literally nothing to spend your money on. As in Bimini, there is just a beach. Miami, you probably won't be able to get off. And then Mexico, everything's really cheap. Whereas Valiant Europe, it's going to be expensive. Another con for Valiant is it's a setup. So I will probably have to join that ship in February, March. And it's basically a skeleton. I mean, it's decorated, all the like main furniture's in, but like the shops, for example, there will be no merchandise on the shelf. We might actually have to put the shelves in as well. So for the first month or two, we're not going to be selling anything. We are just going to be lifting lots of boxes, doing a lot of deliveries and getting the shops set up, ready to set sail. And the reason that that is a con is because we're not selling anything, which means very low commission, which means basic salary. And also it's bloody hard work, like lifting all those boxes, doing delivery. It's tiring enough just doing one on every other embarkation day, but to do it, well, we would have to do it every probably other day, and the deliveries would be huge. So there's a lot of, you know, sitting in the locker with a skew gun, checking things off. Anyone who has ever done a ship setup will tell you it's hard. I did the ship setup in 2020. January 2020, and then obviously got sent home in March because of COVID. Oh my god, was it hard. Like, it was the hardest that I've ever worked, even taking in Steiner into consideration. But then a pro for Valiant, I'm sorry I keep going back and forth, a pro for Valiant is then I would get to do the launch, and the launch on Scarlet Lady was incredible. Like, there was so much excitement, everyone's energy on board was incredible, and to be able to experience that again on another ship would be amazing. Now for Resilient. Now you might actually be thinking, well, why the hell are you even considering Resilient? Because it's not being launched until August. Ah, well, if you did watch the video where I was contemplating what to do, as in going back on ships because of COVID-19, you will know that one of my main reasons for not wanting to go back is because of all the restrictions and COVID protocols that have been put in place on board cruise ships to keep everybody safe. Yes, they're there for a good reason, but that doesn't make them easy. You know, wearing a mask 14 hours a day, maybe being confined to the cruise ship and not getting shore leave, it's not ideal. So my thinking is, well, if I request Resilient, I probably wouldn't join the ship. If it's being launched in August, I probably wouldn't join the ship until like July, maybe late June, July. And that way I would get to enjoy summer at home. And hopefully by the time that I joined Resilient in July, August, everything will have calmed down. Hopefully shore leave will be granted, maybe masks will be less, there won't be any like restrictions in the mess. I'm sure the sanitizing and the hand sanitizing and the social distancing, of course that's going to be in place. I think that's going to be in place for a long time. But the really difficult things like the initial quarantining period and all of that stuff, hopefully by then it will be relaxed. So that's drawing me in. Like, maybe I should wait and see what happens with COVID and then have a cruise ship lined up for when hopefully things calm down. Another pro is, again, the itinerary. It is doing Europe, but a different part of Europe. So Resilient at the moment is going to be doing Greece, which is Mykonos, Santorini, oh my god, Greek food, oh my god, Montenegro, Croatia, Italy, like it's going to some incredible places. So that's another pro for Resilient. The itinerary is beautiful. And then the cons for Resilient, I mean, the only con that I can think of for Resilient right now is I would have to wait till August. So that if I waited till August, yes, the good thing would be hopefully all the COVID restrictions would be lessened, but like, what am I going to do in the meantime? But then I have other options that I can explore, so maybe it would be a good amount of time for me to do that. But it is a long time, you know, that's like 8 months. So shit, 8 months. Do I want to do that? Oh. So those are the pros and cons for all 3 ships that Virgin Voyages have. And you know, I've been talking to people at my company, Harding Retail, about it and just running it by them, and they've been really helpful as always. But yeah, so still a big decision that I need to make. I've made one, I'm going to go back on ships, but the other one is which one? So this is where I need your help. I would really like it if you would go in the comments and basically write down which ship you think I should go on based on those pros and cons. And also, if you have any pros and cons that you've thought of that I haven't mentioned, please put them in the comments, because you know that's always going to help me out. And then I'll keep you updated with my decision, but they've all obviously got pros and cons, and normally when you write a pros and cons list there's always one that stands out more than the others. The pros are really kind of equal, like the fact that I would make more money on Scarlet. At the end of the day, it's a job. So money is important. Valiant, I've already got friends on Valiant, which when you're leaving home for 6 months, that is a huge pull. If you can go somewhere where you've already got a foundation of friends, then that is huge. And then Resilient, the pro is that hopefully, I mean it's not guaranteed, but hopefully by the time I go, there won't be all of this COVID bullshit. Yeah, it's a really hard one actually. But anyway, as I said, please leave your suggestions and your thoughts in the comments. I will read them all, reply to you all. Can't wait to see them. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, you know what to do. Press like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye.